Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's indeed a beautiful Friday morning of the 20th day of February 2026. A very good morning to you and welcome to the Muslim Insight Show, your weekly news recap. My name is Zamzam Ahmed and my sign language interpreter is Abdul Wahab Ali. Today we have so much lined up for you, but before that, let's get the headlines.
We are heading to the 2027 general election, and we want the students, together with the teachers, to be able to understand the process of IEBC.
Learners' elections. Muslim Academy learners get first-hand experience in the ballot, supervised by the IEBC.
Somebody just called the sheikh who was giving a live program, anauliza hukumu ya kula panya kwa iftar.
Support Gaza. Voices for Palestine launch M-Pesa Ratiba for Gaza to raise funds for critical medical aid in Gaza. Kibo's demolitions. Supreme Court upholds Kibo's Nubian community land rights in landmark ruling.
Thank you so much, and once again welcome to the Muslim Insight Show. To begin with, Jamia Mosque Nairobi has launched its 2026 Ramadan dry food drive aimed at cushioning Muslim families during the holy month of Ramadan by providing essential food supplies to deserving households. The initiative, which is being implemented through the Mosque Social Responsibility Program, seeks to distribute dry food packages valued at approximately 6,000 Kenya shillings each to vulnerable families across various regions. Habiba Hamisi with more details.
Jamia Mosque Committee Executive Officer Said Abdullah appealed to Muslim and well-wishers to support the campaign generously, noting that many families continue to face economic hardship.
We also have launched the Dry Iftar program. This program is every Ramadan we collect funds for our dry iftar. A pack of about 6,000 shillings worth of food is going to be assembled and distributed not just in Nairobi but also in drought-stricken areas. For this, the collection is through our pay bill number that is here in Jamia. The pay bill number is 150770. And the account name is Iftar 2026.
According to Abdullah, the program targets less fortunate members of society who may struggle to afford a proper iftar meal during Ramadan. He further urged the community to show solidarity, particularly with those affected by the ongoing drought in the northeastern region. Last year, Jamia Mosque Nairobi successfully reached thousands of vulnerable households through its Ramadan dry iftar distribution program.
Alhamdulillah, tumeweza kupeleka chakula karibu takriban kwa familia 1000 hapa Nairobi. Tumepeleka sehemu kama Githurai, Gashie, Githurai 44, 45. Kumepeleka sasa tuna distribute ya Kibra. Pia tunadistribute ya Kawangware, Kangemi, Riruta na sehemu zingine mbalimbali. Pumwani, Majengo, Huruma, Mlango Kubwa, Mathare North, sehemu kama hizo inshallah.
In partnership with donors and well-wishers, more than 2,000 families received food packages sufficient to sustain them for at least a month. Each package contained essential items including flour, rice, sugar, beans, cooking oil, salt and dates. In Nairobi County, over 1,000 families from areas such as Kibra, Dipsea, Kawangware, Githurai 4445, Mukuru kwa Njenga, Kangemi, Riruta, Huruma, Majengo and Pumwani benefited from the initiative. The program also extended to needy families in Kiambu, Gashi, Mtito Andei, Mandera, Ramu, Makueni, Budalangi, Kilifi, and Kinango with support from various humanitarian organizations. In addition, Jamia Mosque extended assistance to highly vulnerable groups including prisoners at Kamiti, Naivasha, Manyani and Athi River prisons, as well as widows, reverts, the deaf and the elderly, ensuring their basic needs were met during the holy month. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, my name is Habiba Hamisi.
Thank you so much, Habiba Hamisi, for that report. Now moving on, humanitarian advocacy group Voices for Palestine has officially launched Ratiba for Gaza, a new fundraising initiative aimed at mobilizing sustained financial support for critical medical aid in Gaza. The program was unveiled during the organization's 2023-2025 Impact Report launch at Jamia Mosque, Nairobi on Saturday, where leaders detailed how funds raised under the Plant a Tree, Save a Life campaign were collected and utilized to support urgent humanitarian interventions in Gaza.
Speaking at the event, officials outlined the scale of medical needs in the region, noting that hospitals continue to face severe shortages of surgical supplies, medication and life-saving equipment.
Baada ya hapo tukaendelea mbele, tukaanza matibabu. Kufikia leo nashukuru Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, kila mtu alikuwa anafikiria ati sisi kama Waislamu ama wa Afrika hatuwezi kusaidia Gaza. Leo nina furaha kuwatangazia kwamba sisi Waislamu wa East Africa na Kenya tumetibu wagonjwa 926 kule Gaza. Na bado tunaendelea alhamdulillah na hii campaign.
The newly launched Ratiba for Gaza initiative is designed as a structured, ongoing contribution platform, encouraging supporters to make consistent donations dedicated specifically to emergency and specialized healthcare services.
Imagine we are getting tired just watching or listening, but there are people who are in Gaza who are doing those operations you saw. The bombs are falling, people are getting killed. Hakuna chakula, they don't allow medicines. There are people living in that place, helping Muslims. Wallahi, it's one of the trials. You might be wondering, why are we collecting money? Kuna inchi wa Islamu matajiri. It's the same problem that we have. If we are not collecting, they're also not collecting. If we are not sending, they're also not sending. The governments are, of course, not owned by Muslims. But even them, the people, they are not able to collect the same. So we have the same challenge. You've seen the problems. I think the next phase of this, let us try and have a different way of raising money so that we can assist our brothers, because this is one of the trials on which we'll be asked. It's something that can help us in Akhirah or something that can destroy us, because we are a party to what's going on.
According to the 2023-2025 report, funds raised through the Plant a Tree, Save a Life campaign were channeled into medical assistance programs, including support for major surgeries, procurement of essential drugs, and rehabilitation services for vulnerable patients.
As Voices of Palestine, we've managed to collect till January 98.5 million, of which we have dispersed to at different times to different organizations to be able to achieve what we are collecting for. Gaza medical campaign, we had a target of 65 million. We had dispersed 53 million. Currently we have 4.3 million, which leaves us a balance of around 7.5 million to be able to raise, to be able to finish this campaign and start another campaign towards the Gaza relief.
Last year, humanitarian organization Humanity, in partnership with Voices for Palestine, signed a landmark trilateral agreement with the Ministry of Health in Gaza to support life-saving major surgeries in the region.
Siku moja kulikuwa na live program in Saudi, and somebody just called the sheikh who was giving a live program, anauliza hukumu ya kula panya kwa iftar. So yule sheikh hakuweza kujibu. He was really he couldn't hold himself ninio kwa kule vile alikuwa analia kuona on one side watu wanatupa chakula, on the other side there is no iftar. Watu, and these are realities, watu wanauliza hukumu ya kula panya, sio kula kufuturu panya, because that is the only thing which they can see on their eyes.
The agreement, anchored under the Gaza Medical Fund, was designed to respond to the growing medical crisis and overwhelming demand for specialized surgical care. Over 900 major surgeries are currently underway, ranging from orthopedic procedures and reconstructive surgeries to complex abdominal and trauma operations. But even as progress is made, the need remains urgent. Health officials estimate that more than 120,000 people are still on the waiting list, many of them living in pain, disability, or life-threatening conditions.
The Supreme Court of Kenya has delivered a major victory to the Kibos Nubian community, dismissing Kenya Railways' bid to reclaim land in Kisumu. The Apex Court's bench, comprising Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court Martha Koome, Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President Philomena Mwilu, Justice Dr. Smokin Wanjala, Lady Justice Njoki Susanna Ndungu, Justice Isaac Linaula, and Justice William Ouko dismissed Kenya Railway Corporation's application for conservatory orders, ruling that the application lacks merit.
In the ruling delivered on January 30th, 2026, Kenya Railways was also ordered to cater for the cost of the case. The landmark decision upholds a Court of Appeal judgment affirming the community's land ownership and recognizes that the forced 2021 demolitions violated their rights to housing and dignity. In February 2021, approximately 3,500 families were forcibly removed from the land, their homes reduced to rubble, leaving them homeless and without access to essential services. Last year, the Court of Appeal in Kisumu dismissed the Kenya Railways appeal. Subsequent Supreme Court proceedings have now confirmed that decision, with the Apex Court declining to interfere with the Appellate Court's findings. The dispute traces back to a decision by the Environment and Land Court, ELC, which found Kenya Railways' eviction of Kibos residents illegal, inhuman, and unconstitutional. The Environment and Land Court ruled that the community had been occupying the land since 1937 and had acquired long-term licenses from the colonial government, granting them legally recognizable rights over the property. The residents, led by Fatuma Hamis Bira and 5 others, moved to court after Kenya Railways issued a 7-day eviction notice in March 2020. The notice was followed by forceful demolitions that left thousands homeless. In their petition, the residents argued that they were not accorded a fair hearing, proper eviction notices, or alternative housing. They contended that the evictions violated their constitutional rights to dignity, property, fair administrative action, and adequate housing as provided under the Kenyan Constitution and international human rights laws. Kenya Railways maintained that the land in question was railway reserve land under a 1986 vesting order and had never been lawfully allocated to the Nubian community. The corporation further argued that the demolitions were conducted lawfully after due notices had been issued. Reporting for JamiaTV, my name is Serafina Msioki.
Thank you so much, Sarafina, for that report. Now, in other news, learners in Nairobi are getting a practical lesson in democracy by participating in a real-life voting exercise to elect their school leaders. The exercise, conducted at Muslim Academy in Nairobi, was supervised by Kenya's electoral body, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, giving students first-hand experience in the ballot process. This was the 4th student elections, allowing students to actively participate in the democratic process by electing their school leaders.
It was democracy in action at the Muslim Academy in Nairobi as learners lined up, ballot papers in hand, ready to cast their votes.
The Student Council elections are carried out every year, not less than the 6th week of every term one. This facilitates a smooth transfer of the responsibility from the graduating class to the newly elected leaders. The role of the student council is to promote peace and harmony in the daily operation of the school activities and providing opportunities for and to nurture students' leadership skills and empower students to become positive role model and change agent in the school and neighboring communities and the societies.
In an exercise conducted by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, students took part in structured elections to choose their school president, governors, and members of parliament who will serve as class representatives.
In our department, we recommend learners to participate in this leadership because in Islam, leadership is not about popularity. Leadership is not about pride. Leadership is not about power. Leadership is amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A true leader serves others and stands for justice and fear Allah in every decision they make.
According to Miriam Gashihi, a senior elections officer for Starehe constituency who oversaw the elections process, described the initiative as a crucial investment in Kenya's future leadership.
We want to train the young students so that they may be able to understand elections. As you are aware, we are heading to the 2027 general election, and we want the students, together with the teachers, to be able to understand the process of IEBC, so that come next year, they may be able to explain even to their parents and siblings on how elections are conducted.
Polling stations were set up within the school compound, complete with ballot boxes and presiding officers mirroring Kenya's national election process.
We are having this kind of student election so that we can be able to introduce them, so that they can be familiar with all the methods and the procedures for election. In fact, they have been doing their own campaign, free and fair, without any abnormalities and corruption. This one will going to prepare them for the real life future that they're going to encounter, inshallah, as our country gets into election in the coming year 2027.
School management say the exercise is part of the broader effort to instill civic responsibility, accountability, and integrity among students.
So we are preparing these learners so that they can become responsible leaders in the future, so that they can lead this country, they can lead in their own perspective, so that we don't have these issues we are finding, especially in Kenya, about violence after elections.
By participating in the process, learners gain practical knowledge about democracy, leadership, and the importance of making informed choices.
I can't express the joy that I feel, knowing that our kids, the future generation, they are growing, knowing their rights of voting. Because we, as the adults, next year as well, we are waiting for a general election. So for us, it becomes a little bit challenging because there are things that we haven't been brought up with. We didn't grow knowing them up. We were just taught as an adult. But for them, it's such a great privilege for them because they are growing up knowing what to do and not what to do.
The elected school president, governors, and members of parliament will now represent students' interest and serve as a link between the administration and the student body.
Students are usually not able to talk to teachers in a free will, so I think if I become president, I'll be able to talk to students from a brother and sister view or an older sister view, so I can help them in their struggles and anything that they need and help.
Reporting for the Muslim Insight, I am Aban Shehemi.
It's indeed a privilege to the Muslim Academy learners to get first-hand experience in the ballot process that has been supervised by the IEBC. Moving on, Muslims in the country have been called on to extend a helping hand to the families affected by the ongoing drought as the holy month of Ramadan continues. The appeal comes amid rising food and water insecurity in several parts of the country, where prolonged dry conditions have left thousands of households struggling to access basic necessities.
Speaking to JamiaTV on Friday, Sheikh Mohammed Idris said the spiritual significance of Ramadan, a month marked by fasting, charity and compassion, presents an opportunity for collective action to ease the suffering of vulnerable families.
I would like to note, my dear brothers, and remind that this is the month of mercy. This is the month of charity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes those who compete for the charity. That's Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was most generous, and he was the most generous in the month of Ramadan. So we have to be generous, especially for our brothers and sisters and for the communities which are affected by the drought around the country. So we have to help them, we have to give the charity, we have to be generous, and we have to discipline ourselves and attain the taqwa inshallah ta'ala during this month.
Humanitarian groups report that pastoralist community and low-income households have been hardest hit, with dwindling livestock, dried up water sources and soaring food prices compounding the crisis. Many families now rely on well-wishers and aid organizations for daily iftar meals and basic food supplies.
Kuna wale ambayo kwa hii mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani hawajiwezi, maana kidogo mfuko iko chini, na pale Northeastern tunajua kuna drought ambaye kuna ukame ambaye watu hawajiwezi. Tunaomba pia Waislamu mahali popote wako wasaidiane, at least wale watu pia wapate tende na chakula chao cha iftar. Na hiyo pia serikali kuu itakuwa inaweza ingililia na county governments isaidie, maana pale kuna shida kubwa sana, shida yenye si ndogo. Na Waislamu pale popote wako, al-Muslim akhul Muslim, Muislamu ni ndugu ya Muislamu mwingine. Kwa hivyo tunaomba Waislamu wote wajumuike pamoja, wakuje pamoja na wasaidie wale ambaye hawajiwezi kwa hii mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani inshallah.
Mosques and charitable organizations across the country have stepped up food distribution drive, water tracking efforts and Ramadan food park initiatives aimed at cushioning the most affected communities. Over 2 million people across Kenya are facing worsening food insecurity following one of the driest October to December 2025 rainy seasons on record. The prolonged drought has led to rising rates of malnutrition, increased risk of disease outbreaks, and disrupted access to essential health services. According to Kenya's National Drought Management Authority, 10 counties are experiencing drought conditions. 9 counties, Wajir, Garissa, Kilifi, Marsabit, Kitui, Kwale, Kajiado, Isiolo, and Tana River are in the alert phase, while Mandera is in the critical alarm phase. 13 other counties in the Asal region, which are currently categorized as normal, are increasingly showing signs of drought stress, particularly in water and livestock indicators. The Kenyan government has warned that 2.5 million citizens are at risk of severe hunger and water scarcity if the drought persists. Bibi Mohammed, Muslim Insight.
And with that report from Bibi Muhammad brings us to the end of our first segment of the Muslim Insight Show. Stay tuned, for there is still more to come.
JamiaTV, kurunzi ya taifa. On the next episode,
so every time results come out and your child has an A grade, you're super excited and you don't think of any other career apart from medicine. Mm-hmm. And I tell parents, if you really want your child to be called a doctor, they can go ahead and do what they're passionate about up to PhD level, and they can still be called doctors. Yeah. We have so many interesting programs out there. We have the Kenya University Central Placement Services, CUSPS, that usually they give us thousands of options where we can choose careers from. So it's not just about the qualification. We have interest, we have personality, we have future goals, we have values, we have job opportunities, and many other things that we need to think about.
with Kids is where all kids come for stories.
Our story is about the Arabs and
Stories that educate.
what do we call this in Arabic? Boys. 3,000 for boys. Clap for boys.
Stories of Deen and Dunya.
A camel tells the horse, "Hey, I am strong. I can go very far away." And the horse says, "I am faster than you." And they fight.
And making it more fun, we introduce.
Okay, what's my name? So it's Najma with the
more fun facts.
Rice is baris and baris is rice. Rice is baris and baris is rice.
Come learn and enjoy.
Muharram. And then Safar, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Thani. These are the months in Islam.
Abu Najma with Kids.
What comes to your mind when you hear the word mental health? A word often whispered, misunderstood, and even stigmatized. Yet it affects every aspect of who we are, how we think, feel, and live. So why do we treat it as an afterthought when it deserves our highest priority, our deepest care, and greatest concern? Join me, psychologist Fatou Sane, on JamiaTV as I sit down with experts to help us unpack hidden truth and understand what it really means to be mentally healthy.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on JamiaTV.
تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا.
Ni kitabu kitukufu.
Qur'ani ni kitabu ambacho cha miujiza
kilichoteremshwa kwa mpangilio.
Hazikuletwa harufu hizi za mkato moja kwa moja.
Hakuna mfano wake.
Na hamwezi nyinyi Makureishi kuwa ni wenye kutunga kitabu kama hiki ingawa zimetumia harufu zile ambazo zimezitumia katika kuandika au katika kusema.
Miujiza yake Al-Malik.
Mwenyezi Mungu ana uwezo usiokuwa na kifani.
Ni malengo ya Qur'an.
Khazain zote za ardhi na samawati ziko mikononi mwake.
Sheikh Salim Badamana na uchambuzi wa Qur'an kwa undani kwenye JamiaTV.
Nchini Kenya kuna taasisi ya haki na usawa. Kwa miaka na mikaka, mahakama ya kadhi imekuwa nguzo kuu ya kutoa suluhu za kisheria bila kujali misingi ya kikabila, rangi, utajiri au maskini. Mahakama hii inahakikisha wote wanapata haki, usawa na hadhi. Ungana nasi katika kusherehekea mahakama ya kadhi kama ishara ya matumaini na haki katika umma wa Kiislamu.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما. والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما.
La kutafakari.
Mtume anaambiwa wahbib man ahbabta wa ahbib man ahbabta fa innaka mufariqahu. Mpende ewe Muhammad utakayempenda, akiwa ni Aisha radhiallahu anha, kama ilikuwa ni Khadija, kama ilikuwa ni Salama, kama ni Abu Bakar as-Siddiq, ama ni Umar al-Faruq, ama ni Ali bin Abi Talib, ama ni Uthman bin Affan, utawaacha. Kama vile ambavyo kwamba sisi hapa duniani mpende mkeo unavyotaka, mke ampende mume anavyotaka, mpende babako unavyotaka, baba apende wanae anavyotaka, tutafarikiana kwa kumoja kuondoka kuwaacha wengine, moja kufa kwenda mbele haki na wengine wabaki duniani. Hatusemi tusipendane, hatusemi tusitendeane wema, hatusemi tusioneshane mapenzi, lakini mahaba haya, alaka hizi zisichangie sisi kupunguza kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, zisichangie sisi kutokuwajibika katika ibada zetu, zisichangie sisi kupuza sunna za Mtume. Alaka hii isilete tabu baina alaka yako wewe na Mola wako. Isije ikawa babako leo ama mamako ndo anakuwa ni sababu ya wewe kwenda motoni. Isije ikawa wanao na wakezo wakawa ndo sababu ya wewe kwenda motoni. Isije ikawa mumeo na wanao ndo sababu ya wewe mama kwenda motoni. Na isije ikawa nyinyi watoto baba zenu mahaba mliokuwa nayo ndo masababu za mahaba yale nyinyi kwenda motoni. Kwa hivyo Mtume Muhammad yuambiwa ampende amtakaye, lakini akaya akikumbuka atamwacha. Na naam, wallahi mpende utakayempenda, siku utakufa huendi haji na wewe kaburini.
La kutafakari.
Kuna faida gani twapata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam,
nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani?
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye JamiaTV.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Kwa kusoma Qur'an ni lazima isomwe namna ilivyoteremshwa. Asema Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, warattilil Qur'ana tartila. Uwe ni mwenye kusoma Qur'ani namna ilivyoteremka. Asema Dhihaki rahimahullahu ta'ala, harfan harfa, kuisoma herufi baada ya herufi. Na ni vipi tuisoma Qur'ani?
JamiaTV, kurunzi ya taifa.
Welcome back and thank you so much for keeping it at JamiaTV. The government has reaffirmed its commitment to end decades of marginalization in northeastern Kenya, unveiling a raft of transformative development projects aimed at accelerating economic growth and regional integration. The announcement was made during the disbursement of the Nyota's Business Startup Capital component of 63 million Kenya shillings to 2,520 beneficiaries in Wajir County, an initiative designed to empower youth, women and small-scale entrepreneurs through financial support and skills development.
Speaking at the event, William Ruto said his administration is determined to ensure equitable development across all parts of the country, emphasizing that no region will be left behind.
Tulisema ile ubaguzi ya zamani ya watu wa Wajir being treated as second-class citizens, to be taken through processes, to be taken through vetting, so that they can access their constitutional right of papers and documents for them as citizens of Kenya, constitutional documents. Hiyo madharau, hiyo ubaguzi tunaifutilia mbali. Today, citizens of northern Kenya are treated equally with all the other citizens of the Republic of Kenya.
President William Ruto has directed the Kenya Defence Forces to oversee the construction of a new stadium and a major airport in Mandera County, with the stadium alone said to cost the government 900 million Kenyan shillings. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki said the Nyota program is part of the broader strategy to economically empower residents while infrastructure projects take shape.
Kwa mwaka mingi sehemu hii imekuwa nyuma kimaendeleo. Lakini kupitia uongozi wako tangu kuwe rais, ndio sasa tumeanza program ya ujenzi wa barabara ambazo ni barabara za kaskazini mashariki. Moja ya hizo barabara ikiwa barabara ya kuunganisha Isiolo na mji wa Mandera ikipitia hapa Wajir.
Cabinet Secretary for Health Aden Duale underscored the government's commitment to improving social services alongside infrastructure. He said enhanced health facilities and expanded access to essential services will complement the economic projects being rolled out.
Our community, our region suffered serious marginalization, serious discrimination, and serious, even extrajudicial killing by those who are in power before you. And you have agreed that you will reset the history of Kenya, and there will be no Kenya without northern Kenya.
Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi welcomed the national government's renewed focus on the region, saying the projects will transform the economic landscape of northeastern Kenya.
The things you are doing in northern Kenya, yale maendeleo unafanya, ile barabara ambayo juzi ama ilikuwa ni jana ulisimamia pale katikati ya Kulamawe na Madogashi, ile yenye imeanza hapa ikiendelea upande ya Mandera. The promises which you have made, which I know you will repeat here, of fixing our airport and our roads, our inner roads, the electricity, that has been the single largest antidote to sessional paper number 10 of 1965. It's your actions, day by day, action by action, that are reversing the 60 years of marginalization, and we want to thank you for it.
The project of marginalization in northern Kenya can be traced back to the colonial era, while Britain established a colonial protectorate in the East African country at the turn of the 19th century. Nominally, the rule covered a vast stretch of land in northern Kenya that they called the Northern Frontier District due to its remoteness, aridity and resistance by the Somali inhabitants. The British colonial government largely ignored the area in terms of development. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, my name is Mariam Sa.
Thank you so much, Mariam Sa, for that well put and detailed report. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale received a 30-ton consignment of humanitarian relief cargo from the United Arab Emirates UAE, aimed at supporting communities affected by drought, particularly in the northeastern region. A large supply of dates will be distributed to vulnerable households through the Kenya Red Cross Society. The targeted assistance will focus on those who have been severely impacted by the prolonged drought and food insecurity. This humanitarian initiative is part of the UAE's broader international outreach efforts to combat food insecurity, especially during the holy month of Ramadan, when demand for essential commodities increases among at-risk populations. Duale was joined by Head of Consular Affairs and International Services, His Excellency Mr. Osama Abusim, Secretary General of the Kenya Red Cross, Dr. Ahmed Idris, and SUPKEM's Regional Coordinator for Northeastern, Dr. Adan Ibrahim. Moving on, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has said that Kenya underscores the importance of trade and investment with Egypt and is keen on deepening economic cooperation by creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Speaking when he hosted Dr. Badr Abdelati, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian expatriates of the Arab Republic of Egypt, who was on an official visit to Kenya, Mudavadi said Kenya and Egypt will encourage their private sectors to leverage synergies, diversity traded products, and fast-track the establishment of a Kenya-Egypt Joint Business Council.
Mudavadi, also Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, said Kenya valued its long-standing and historic relationship with the Arab Republic of Egypt, a partnership founded on mutual respect, shared African heritage, and a common responsibility for regional stability and progress.
I note that the two countries are set to hold a midterm review to assess progress, identify challenges, and refine our strategic priorities. This is in addition to the proposed state visit of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to Kenya later this year. We have taken note of Egypt's interest in aligning the visit with the Africa-France Summit to be held in Nairobi in May 2026, and Kenya remains open to constructive engagement on this proposal.
During that visit, Mudavadi said the two governments also signed 12 bilateral agreements, significantly expanding cooperation across key sectors, including trade and investment, education and research, technology, governance, gender equality, youth empowerment, maritime affairs, telecommunications and ICT, space cooperation, housing and urban development, and sustainable development.
Kenya appreciates Egypt's role in the African Union Peace and Security Council, through which Egypt has made significant contributions in the promotion of peace, stability, and conflict resolution. Egypt's active participation reflects a strong commitment to fostering regional cooperation and security. We reaffirmed our steadfast commitment to support peace initiatives in the Horn of Africa. Our shared efforts is aimed to not only secure stability, but also foster sustainable development and prosperity of our people.
Dr. Abdelati said they had created a fund of about $100 million to support the construction of small dams across the country as part of helping solve the water problem.
Egypt launched a new fund, we call it the Nile Development Fund, for financing and mobilize international financing for infrastructure projects in the Nile Basin countries, including dam projects mainly, with an initial Egyptian contribution of $100 million US dollars. And in line with our historic relations, Kenya is accorded the priority to benefit from this Nile Development Fund to finance the studies and the implementation of specific dam projects here in Kenya.
Together with Egypt, Kenya appreciates the ongoing peace and security efforts in the region and stands ready to collaborate closely with international partners to address shared challenges and promote regional stability. Bibi Mohammed, Muslim Insight.
Elsewhere in the northeastern region, President William Ruto has announced the 2026 Madaraka Day celebrations will be held in Wajir County. The president made the announcement at the Wajir Stadium last week during the Nyota Capital Disbursement Program. He said a total of 900 million Kenya shillings has been set aside to rebuild the Wajir Stadium ahead of the 1st June 2026 Madaraka Day fete.
President William Ruto announced that the 2026 Madaraka Day celebrations will be held in Wajir County, marking the first time a national holiday is being hosted in the Kenyan's northeastern region. In a post on his X account, Ruto stated that the government had invested at least 900 million Kenya shillings in the construction of a modern stadium in Wajir ahead of the 2026 Madaraka Day celebrations. The historic decision signals a significant milestone for the region, long considered marginalized in national development plans. The president reaffirmed that all Kenyans are equal and that every region of the country is entitled to equal recognition and development.
Hii Northern Kenya ilipata matatizo kwa muda mrefu. Siasa ya ukabila na chuki na mambo ya ubaguzi ilileta hasara kubwa. Ndio leo tunaanza kujenga mabarabara hapa Northern Kenya. I made a commitment to the people of Northern Kenya ya kwamba ile siasa ya zamani, mtu akitoka Mandera, Wajia, Garissa anaenda Nairobi, ati anatoka huku ati anaenda Kenya. Mimi niliwaambia ile Kenya huko tutaileta, itakuwa hapa Wajia, itakuwa Mandera na itakuwa Garissa, kwa sababu you are part and parcel of the great Republic of Kenya. And what is happening in the rest of Kenya must happen in this Wajir County.
The president spoke in Wajir, where he conducted the national rollout of Nyota's business startup capital component with the disbursement of 63 million Kenya shillings to 2,520 beneficiaries. Madaraka Day, observed annually on June 1st, commemorates Kenyans' attainment of internal self-rule from British colonialists in 1963. Shadia Ramadan for Muslim Insight.
Thank you so much, Shadia Ramadan, for that report. Now moving on to Gaza. Over 1,000 Palestinian sports people were killed and 265 facilities destroyed during Israel's genocidal war on the Gaza Strip since October 2023. This is according to officials. The report indicates that 45 women were among the victims.
According to Asad al-Majdalawi, the Palestinian Olympic Committee's vice president, the destruction has deprived thousands of young people and adolescents of their right to train and practice sports. Losses extend beyond statistics to include psychological and social impacts such as trauma among athletes, disruption of sports development programs, reduced professional opportunities, and the loss of income for many workers in the sector. A US-backed ceasefire agreement has been in place in Gaza since October 10th, halting Israel's two-year war that has killed more than 72,000 people, mostly women and children, and injured over 171,000 others since October 2023. Since the agreement took effect on October 10th, Israeli forces have committed hundreds of violations through shelling and gunfire, killing 603 Palestinians and injuring 1,618 others, according to Gaza's health ministry. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, my name is Mohammed Ali.
Last but not least, the leading telecommunication firm Safaricom has reaffirmed its long-standing support for Kenyan golf with a 10 million Kenya shillings sponsorship ahead of this year's tournament. The four-day tournament at Karen Country Club will bring together top international professionals and local stars. It remains one of the key stops at the DP World Tour. The 2026 Magical Kenya Open has received a major boost after leading telecommunications firm Safaricom announced a 10 million Kenya shilling sponsorship for this year's tournament.
For Kenya Open, the Safaricom partnership, and it's a partnership we've had for quite some time, entails several elements. The first one is a provision of digital access. And that is not just for the people working within the event, but it's also for the data that we have. And part of that data is the scoring operations on the course, which people are walking around, so they need mobile digital access to be able to report back on scoring. So the scoring that happens on the course is done through part of the partnership that we have with Safaricom in terms of data being provided. The next one is actually the administration as well within the course. A lot of that, as we work between Kenya and the UK and places like that, we also need access in that area, and that is being provided by Safaricom too. The third access is just providing Wi-Fi for people on the course. That is an important one, so people can communicate, they can interact with some of the facilities that we have on the course with the digital facilities that are provided.
Out of the total package, 9 million Kenya shillings will go toward in-kind support, with Safaricom serving as the official technology and connectivity partner. The company will provide high-speed internet and a fully equipped media center to ensure seamless global broadcasting and real-time scoring.
This event has very many moving parts and many people doing many different things at the same time within even little and very tight time frames. So how do you connect all those dots? Of course, communication, connectivity. So without Safaricom, that would be difficult. You don't want to have an issue somewhere that a decision needs to be made like yesterday, but that can't be done because I couldn't reach my counterpart. But now with the whole place wired up, Wi-Fi, it makes it very easy for things to move quickly because communication is key for that to happen.
An additional 1 million shillings has been set aside for the Beat the Pro challenge, giving junior golfers the opportunity to compete alongside professionals.
In addition to the money that is provided mainly for logistical purposes, all the people who win will get a seed capital of 50,000 shillings that will be deposited into their ZD accounts. This is a way for us to show the young people how they can actually start to invest at a very young age. From the comfort of their home, just on their phone, they're able to invest on the ZD Money Market Fund. It's very, very simple. Once you have the app, you can invest by just moving the money from your M-Pesa to the ZD mini app. And also if you want to withdraw, you can do the same. The interest is paid on a daily basis, and we think that it will be quite exciting for the young golfers.
This year's tournament has attracted 144 players from around the world, including 15 Kenyans, battling for a total prize purse of $2.7 million US.
It's a great initiative by Safaricom, the DP World, and everyone involved. For us, it's just hitting one shot and moving on. But, I mean, I guess it's exciting. It's something where we could inspire the juniors. You know, if they see us there on, on a Saturday, it just inspires them to be in the same position in a few years to come.
The Magical Kenya Open is part of the DP World Tour calendar and continues to showcase Kenya as a premier golfing destination. And that story on Magical Kenya Open Tournament and Safaricom brings us to the end of the Muslim Inside Show. Thank you so much to the production team and everyone who's watching us, JamiaTV. And as JamiaTV, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a blessed month of Ramadan. May this month bring you peace, forgiveness, and countless moments of joy. And may your prayers and deeds be accepted. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have been your host, Zamzam Ahmed.